morning everyone, it's Carol at Oak House Journals. Lovely to have you with me. Horrible rainy day outside my window today. It is summer here in the UK, but you would never believe it if you looked outside my window. It's throwing it down with rain. The sky is grey. We had blustery winds last night, so there's tree debris all over the lawn. And would you believe it, we actually sat out and had dinner in the late evening sunshine last night. So the contrast between yesterday and today is just amazing. And obviously it's down to our really crazy weather at the moment. With the weather being like it is today, I'm in the craft room and I'm going to do a Margarete Miller assignment, as you can tell from the pieces that I've got on my desk. So there is always a silver lining, isn't there? So I'm going to do assignment number 44, and the prompts are here. The first one is an image with sky in it. Well, I'm going to go for this tiny little image here of a tree in winter. It's a solitary tree in a field. There's a little bit of a track there which is covered with snow, and then this beautiful moody sky above. The second prompt is pattern paper. I've got this small piece of handmade paper. As you can see, it's this gorgeous deep maroon colour on the back with some splodges of real deep purple on it. Lovely piece of paper. I could use either side. This is like a matte gold with little random black triangles all over it, and as you can see, it's got torn edges on two sides. Something associated with a period in history. So I'm going to go with this, and the reason I've chosen this is because of this beautiful writing here. Now, this to me is reminiscent of the beautiful handwritten church manuscripts that were around in the medieval time. The next prompt is something that starts with B. I've got this lovely image here of this beautiful lady, and the B is obviously her bonnet. Now, if I show you this, that goes beautifully against this image. If I turn it over, this goes even better because this background is almost the same deep purpley maroon colour, but I've got to use pattern paper, so I have to use this side. So that's the side I'm going to use, but where it's torn, you do get a tiny hint of that maroony purple coming in, so I'm hoping that's going to work. A fibre or a yarn, well, I've got my threads off to one side here, so obviously I'm going to do some stitching or something or other with those. And finally, bonus, something torn. I've got this little piece of paper here. It's obviously craft paper, and I've stamped on one side. I'm not going to use this side, I'm going to use the reverse, this side. And finally, I've got this as my background. Now, the first prompt was an image with sky in it, and I had this to one side, and I thought originally I was going to use this to hit that prompt. I decided to use the little tiny one that I've got here instead, this one, but I am still going to make use of this and have it as a background. So as always, to start with, I'm going to put my piece up there, I'm going to put those pieces there, and I'm going to go straight in and trim this. I'm going to take away the white edges top and bottom. And I'm going to see how this sits on my piece because I didn't measure it at all, I just went for it. It is outside my working area, but as you know, I'm never precious about that. If it goes over, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. I'm going to bring this in. As you can see, I've just given it a minuscule trim all the way round. There was a white edge there which I didn't want, so I've just trimmed that away. I don't want Come and Meet Barry Hilton. Barry Hilton is a UK artist who does the most amazing moody skies in his landscapes, and I'm a bit of a fan of his work. So as I said, I don't want that across the top and showing, so I'm just going to put in my piece up there. I'm going to cover up that bit using this. I'm going to cover up the start of my lettering there. It would be nice to keep that delicate work showing. Really would be lovely to use that on there like that, and it would go on here. the dark colours here picking up this, which is what I wanted, but I have to use pattern paper. Oh, that would be so nice. Okay, I'm not allowed to use it, so let's flip this over. It's just big enough for me to get in with one of these patterned rows showing all the way round like that. So I'm going to slide that under there. I am going to have to cover up some of this script, but I want to leave as many lines as I can. Pull it over a little bit more. Yep, that's looking quite good. I have a smaller border down here than I have up there, so I'm going to move it up just a little bit. And this piece, I'm going to try and slide under here and angle it, something like that. Now straight away I'm not liking that straight edge down there, so I am going to rip that and also maybe ending it about here. So I'm going to be brave today and try not to procrastinate too much. There is a bit of a horizon there, and I'm wondering whether to end it at the horizon or end it lower down. Okay, I'm going to end it here to start with. So I'm going to cut this away so that I don't have this showing and this bit down here, and I'll be back when I've done that. I've trimmed this piece down and I'm going to put some glue behind this piece here. So that piece was going to sit on there like that. I've just moved this up so that I can have a look what this background piece here, this lighter colour piece, would look like if I took that to the horizon line there. And I don't like it. I like it below the horizon, so I'm going to stick with how I originally planned to have that. I'm going to just move this over a bit to the right. All needs to come up a little bit so that I can get the top and bottom just eyeballed equidistance, and try and get this one on to see if I've got it positioned right. And I think I have. Can't take it any more over to the right. So that's as far as I can have that, like that. So I'm going to put some glue behind my patterned paper. Lift that off. Bit of glue behind. And I've glued that down, and I didn't need to because I want to get in this piece of paper tucked in behind, and I was going to just rip that edge here just to get a little bit more interest going on in this bottom corner, lining up with the end there, trying to give myself an equal border top and bottom. This one, the left hand edge needs to line up with that and the initial cap at the top. Now, this is going to be quite a dominant white border, but I can't reduce it because of the amount of play I've got, or distance I've got at the top there. So this is more or less where I want this to be, so I'm going to put a bit of glue behind. Now some glue on this one. And now this piece I wanted just to have tucked under here like that, but I'm going to angle it slightly. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue under here, and now I can glue this edge down. For my stitching, I thought I would do some stitches down here, maybe 3 cross stitches there, and then depending on what that looks like, maybe do a little bit up here, and that way I could bring in my threads. So I'm just going to mark off where I want my stitches to go, so something like that. Another one here perhaps, and another one here. I'll leave up there until I know what I want to do. I've lifted out some threads to audition here. Initially I thought brown would go, but when I put brown next to her gown, it isn't right at all. Her gown and bonnet aren't brown. They're almost a deep maroon, so this one won't work. This one I thought would pick up the green tones here and would look quite nice, would work well with that, but I'm not going to go with that one. This one is lighter than a gown, so that one won't go. This one is slightly softer and would work very well, I think, in terms of colour tones, certainly with the background there. But bizarrely, the one I've lifted out, these are all DMC threads here, but bizarrely, the one I've lifted out is one of these Steph Francis silks. It's a variegated, but the grey tone on it is just perfect. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to thread up a needle and then I'm going to do these marks here. Now, I may well need to double this thread up. It's very fine. It would give a nice look, I think, but I might find that I need to double it up so that it stands out a bit. So let me thread up a needle and we'll see how it looks. I'm not going to put a knot in the end of my thread because I don't want a bump on the reverse of this. So I've got some sellotape here that I can use, and I have made holes with my needle on the front side so that I can see where I need to go. I'm going to put a little bit of glue as well. And I think I'll put just a couple of stitches up here. So again, I'm going to mark them with my pencil. And I think I'd like to have one about here, maybe another one down here. Very lazily, I'm going to bring in my rubber and mark those holes. Take away my pencil marks. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back as I did previously. And I'm going to add another one in here. I'm enjoying doing this stitching so much that I think I'm just going to add another one. I'm going to put some glue behind here with my Pritt stick and glue it to my background, and then I'll be back to go through the prompts with you. So here we go, everybody. This is my finished piece for assignment 44 or week 44. I've got my prompts here. Before I go into the prompts, can I tell you, I told you a pack of lies about this. It's not a Steph Francis thread at all. I thought it was one of my variegated silk threads, but for those of you that are into embroidery, you probably notice that it is actually a perlé and it's called Hellebore. Absolutely gorgeous colours on this one, and the variegation on it from mauve to purple to grey was just perfect for what I had in mind for on here. So I'm very pleased with how that has worked, and I didn't need to double it up at all. So I just thought I'd better put that right. And finally, just to go through the prompts, an image with sky in it. Well, I went for this image rather than my background image here. Pattern paper, I went with this little portion here of handmade paper. Something associated with a period in history. Well, I went with the handwritten church manuscripts that you used to get around medieval times. Something that starts with B, her beautiful bonnet on this image here. Fibre, yarn or string. Well, I went with fibre as in perlé cotton thread. So I did my stitching down there and down here. And the bonus, something torn, I went with a little piece of craft paper tucked in there. Have to say, this one came together really, really quickly. There's no story, there's no theme with this one at all, but I love it. I don't know why I love it, but I do. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with it. I hope you like it too. Thank you so much as always for watching. Enjoyed having your company, and I hope you'll join me for the assignment next week, which is assignment number 45. Until then, have a great week, enjoy your own crafting, and I'll leave you with some photographs at the end. Until next week, take care. Bye bye everyone.